I'd like to again welcome everyone to the Plains Cotton Growers 66th Annual Meeting. We look forward to spending the day with our friends and industry partners as we get ready for another crop year. I'd like to begin with a story about last year's meeting. I was feeling pretty proud of myself. After all, I'd just been elected president of Plains Cotton Growers, you know, the most influential producer organization in the nation, I feel. But that feeling was short-lived. On the way home, I asked Robin if in her wildest dreams she ever thought I'd be president of Plains Cotton Growers, and I was brought back down to earth when she informed me that I was not in her wildest dreams. So. I've represented D&J Gin for 23 years on Plains Cotton Growers Board, D&J Gin there in Lockney, and it's been, I guess you could say that about the turn of the century is when I started campaigning for this position, even though I didn't realize it at the time. Just got engaged and came to meetings, and it's been very rewarding to me. This year will mark my 47th crop year, and I can think of 3 years within that time frame that were most difficult, probably 1980, 2011, and of course 2022. The 80s was a year that we, you know, kind of figured out that we wasn't going to be able to irrigate every acre we had, and then the 90s came along. We kind of quit plowing every acre we had due to the innovation with the biotechnology and seed traits, so we didn't plow every acre. And then the 2000s came along. We, of course, when we did plow, we didn't have to open our eyes. We could do it with a real-time GPS system, so that was a big innovation during the 2000s. The teens, beginning with that 2011 crop, we relied on insurance. 2011 being another drought year, and we relied also on the seed endorsement. That was the first year that seed endorsement was available, a policy that was developed by Plains Cotton Growers. Of course, the struggles with WTO and then the efforts of Plains Cotton Growers to get seed cotton back into as a covered commodity before the 2018 Farm Bill. And then, of course, 2020, a difficult year for the whole world. 21, we produced a 4.5 million bale crop in this area. And then, of course, last year's devastating drought year. But what I find most interesting about these years that they happened over time, and we had to overcome the trials and experience those years because we're still here. So. Last year, Brent Nelson, our now past president, spoke about the resiliency of the cotton farmer in his speech. Obviously, farmers are some of the most resilient people around, but part of that resiliency resides in the adaptable natures. We pivot as farmers. When something doesn't work or if something happens outside of our control, we pivot and keep going. I know we don't really want to think back on 2022 crop year, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out the devastation of the drought experienced during this time. While we all know cotton to be a drought-tolerant crop, ideal for this region, that only goes so far when the average precipitation in this area was slim to none in most locations. The Texas Tech University International Center for Agricultural Competitiveness estimated the Texas High Plains cotton industry would lose over $2 billion before insurance indemnities in 2022. And with a 74% abandonment rate in the area, gins were projected to lose over $230 million. The outcome of this past crop is sobering and tells us just how much we need our national, state, and regional industry organizations. Plains Cotton Growers has some accomplishments in 2022 that I'd like to take some time to highlight. It was a busy year for us on the legislative front. In 2022, Plains cotton growers advocated or helped implement the following policy measures. The implementation of the Emergency Relief Program for 20 and 21 crop years. Phase 1 has been completed and Phase 2 is in progress. $3.7 billion was secured through the 2022 end-of-year omnibus spending package that extended the Emergency Relief Program for the 2022 crop year, which should be implemented later this year. Additionally, we supported an increase in the federal boll weevil eradication program funding to $15.95 million, up $1 million from the previous year. $4 million for the USDA Agriculture Marketing System Cotton and Tobacco Program. Cotton classing lab upgrades was also included in the end-of-year spending package. We continue to encourage the National Agricultural Statistics Service to reinstate the ag level district estimates, both in-season and end-of-season monthly estimates for cotton, in order to track potential crop size throughout harvest, which in turn helps industry segments more efficiently allocate warehouse space in certain regions and allows for better price discovery and complements shipping activities. And maintain full funding for the USDA Market Access Program and the USDA Foreign Market Development Program. These programs complement producer investment in remaining competitive in a global market. We continue to advocate for an increase in baseline funding for the 2023 Farm Bill to have sufficient budgetary resources to write a new bipartisan, multi-year, comprehensive and meaningful piece of legislation. Cody Besant testified in a state hearing regarding producers' use of herbicides, and we work to preserve and protect the use of herbicide products throughout the year. And in terms of research, the Plains Cotton Growers Improvement Program, operated through PCG, helps support activities of the Texas A&M AgriLife Research Cotton Breeding Program in 2022 to evaluate 57 commercial varieties in 4 locations, 30 new near-commercial varieties, 52 varieties under root knot nematode pressure, 53 varieties under verticillium wilt pressure, 39 varieties for response to bacterial blight. And if you would like to see the results of these trials, you can view them on the Lubbock, Texas A&M University website. We're also excited to announce that this year, the cotton breeding program will register a high-yielding strain with excellent fiber quality and a new strain showing the first significant improvement in verticillium wilt resistance in over 20 years. When it comes to the promotion pillar of our mission, Plains Cotton Growers funded Cotton Council International to help secure USDA matching funds that CCI uses in the export promotion arm of the National Cotton Council. And the past 2 years, Carlos Garcia, PCCA's export sales manager, has served as president and now chairman of CCI, and we have enjoyed working with someone from our region in this area. Plains Cotton Growers collaborates with CCI in assisting in the organization and execution of special trade missions. In 2022, Plains Cotton Growers and other local industry groups hosted CCI's special trade mission from Pakistan. More than 20 textile mill executives participated in the tour. The drought and its impact on our industry was popular with the press this past year. Plains Cotton Growers participated in stories with the Wall Street Journal, Fox Weather, CNBC TV, Texas Tribune, AgriPulse, Lubbock Avalanche Journal, and multiple local news outlets and newspapers across the 42 counties we represent. The officer team and staff participated in roughly 100 radio interviews during 2022 and gained hundreds of followers across multiple social media platforms. This was especially important because it highlighted the severity and strain of the industry on a broad level and has complemented our policy advocacy efforts at the federal and state level. In terms of service, Plains Cotton Growers traveled to multiple outreach events to educate children and adults on the cotton industry, and our Director of Field Services, Mark Brown, put 48,000 miles on the truck odometer driving across our service area, visiting member GNs, producers, and CPO meetings. I want to pause here for a moment to thank our GN managers, business directors, producer directors, our finance committee, and executive committee for their commitment to our organization. Their time investment is valuable, and we appreciate the efforts we all have put in together to advance the industry. I would also like to recognize all of our past presidents. And if you've served Plains Cotton Growers as a past president, would you please stand? John. We've all heard that cliche about big shoes to fill, and I think these past presidents will agree that they're not quite as big as you think they are due to our the staff that we have in our office. So I'd like to recognize those. David Denson is our office administrator. She takes care of everything office and financials, and also keeps us board members kind of on our toes about our obligations also. We thank David for that. Kara Bishop is our Director of Communications, Public Affairs. She certainly made our organization visible locally and through social platforms worldwide, so we thank Kara for that. Mark Brown, as I mentioned, our Director of Field Services, travels the 42 counties from Midland to Oklahoma Panhandle, and I guess just be careful if you buy one of his used pickups. It may have rolled over and may have 1,200,000 on it. So we thank Mark for his travels. Sean Wade is our Director of Policy Analysis and Research. If you have any questions about insurance or farm programs, Sean will be the go-to guy there. He also does a lot of audio video. He enabled us to keep our meetings going during the COVID years, and helped with that Zoom meeting things. He also he's our recording secretary for all our meetings. I really appreciate Sean for his efforts. And then Cody Besant is our Chief Executive Officer, also Chief Financial Officer. And I guess as far as chiefs go, with the exception of a salary differential there, he's as successful as another chief you may know, Patrick Mahomes. So that's Cody. Cody is very energetic. Has a vast knowledge and is well respected and recognized in Austin and in Washington, D.C. I guess this time I'd like you to join me in applause for our staff. As we look toward this upcoming year, the Farm Bill year, I guess we could say many things are uncertain. Markets are volatile, drought is still here and strong at the moment, and input costs are higher than ever thanks to inflation and geopolitical unrest. The Farm Bill itself seems uncertain, given the fact that more than 200 members of Congress have never voted on this legislation. However, there are positives, such as the letter the House Agriculture Committee sent to the Budget Committee strongly encouraging more funding for the Farm Bill baseline to better serve producers. And according to the National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center, a transition from La Nina to neutral has an 82% chance of happening in May. and the Plains Cotton Growers Political Action Committee has been an instrumental tool in developing relationships with Congress and gaining footholds in policy that benefits the cotton industry. We have been working around the clock to fight for disaster assistance for infrastructure segments, such as our cotton gins, and there has been some positive traction made in these efforts. We understand that the industry depends on all segments in order to thrive, and infrastructure needs help now more than ever to maintain supply chain resiliency. As we move into this new crop year, we may have to pivot and adjust as we move forward, but that's better than standing still. Important thing is to keep moving, and we look forward to continuing our work in this industry to preserve our livelihoods, and as always, we will pray for rain. Thank you.